everyone, and welcome to Gooch Elementary School here in North Dallas. We are having again our Family First Town meeting, and this one, you notice we pick a special topic for each of our Family First Town meetings, and this time we're going to concentrate on education. And moreover, what we can do to make education better. What do parents need to do? What does the community need to do? What can we all do together to make sure that our kids are well educated? In these town meetings, we talk a lot about the problems, because there are a lot of problems. People agree on what the problems are, but we want to talk about solutions. That's very, very important. We want to stress the idea here is to come up with things that we can use, coping skills, strategies that can make this a better education system for our children and for the children here at Gooch Elementary School and at schools all throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so at the end of our town meeting, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with an action plan. We want to hear your ideas, the things that you think will work, things that we can implement to make education better for the students. And then, of course, we have our panel of experts. Oh, I guess I should introduce Doug Fox, who is also going to be emceeing the town meeting with you. Oh, you are not an afterthought, Doug. I'm so sorry.
Oh, just one of the troops. Thank you for coming here this evening. We're delighted to be here. Let me introduce to you. This is our panel of experts. We're going to tap them for their expertise to try to help us maybe plant a few ideas, a few seeds of where we want to go and what we ought to do. On the left there is Mark Mace. He's a special education teacher at Hogg Elementary School in Oak Cliff, as a specialist in inclusion, I guess, getting people involved in the school process. Next to him is Ron Price, who is the community liaison person at Dunbar Elementary School. I know he's worked very effectively with an outfit called the Pearl Guards down at Pearl C. Anderson Learning Center. Next to him, to his right, is Jean Paul Turner. She is the principal at Rockmore Elementary School in Arlington. I'm a little prejudiced here because my oldest daughter went to Rockmore Elementary School, and I was out there today, and they have a wonderful program, and she has some very good ideas. Next to her is Dr. Rosemary Allen, the Division Executive of Student Support Services for DISD. And next to her is Bertha Outler, who is the Education Community Liaison for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank all of you for being here this evening. And let me add, when you want to say something, jump right in. This is sort of a free-for-all, and we have an hour here to have a lot of fun and to talk about a lot of issues.
And again, we want to talk about the issues that are pertinent to the parents, PTA members, teachers, students. I see some students here in the audience at Gooch Elementary. So let's just open our discussion. We want to hear what you have to say. Just raise your hand. Doug and I will race over, kind of like a well-known talk show host. Oh, yes. Come on up.
You have to wait until we get there with a microphone.
I want to make sure before any problems are discussed, I want to make sure that everyone knows that the elementary schools and all the Dallas schools in this part of town are the highest performing schools for DISD, or right up there at the top, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that.
Why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is? I think we have excellent teachers. I think we have strong community involvement, and I think that we have a lot of people that believe in public schools and that are committed to making it work. And my son's been in a Dallas public school for the last 3 years, and I'm just overwhelmed at the quality of education he's receiving.
All right, thank you. That's right. Gooch has won the Excellence in Education Award 3 years in a row.
And this is the principal. She's our host here this evening. So Barbara Upchurch. Barbara, if you would stand up. Is the community, do you think, aware of the success and the track record here at Gooch Elementary?
I think many of them are. We certainly try our best to let them know what's going on, but sometimes a problem in the world today, a negative, seems to get more attention. So you have to keep pushing. Our PTA puts out an excellent newsletter every month, and so we take an opportunity to do an article in the Neighborhood Association newsletter. So we keep trying to get the information out, and I think the majority of them are aware.
Mark Mace, inclusion specialist with James Hogg Elementary. We hear the words parental involvement, community involvement. What does that mean exactly? It's easy to say, but what do you want from parents?
Well, I think that part of the problem with when the negative parts of parent involvement comes when the parents do not know what they can do for schools, where they can help, specifically what they can do when they get there. I think in my particular situation, I think the parents don't know, they don't feel they can help, and we don't give them enough opportunity sometimes to specifically say, we need you to do this. And we say we need parental involvement. What is parental involvement? What does that mean? Does that mean coming to school? Does that mean giving money? Does that mean buying chocolate when the PTA sells fun? What exactly does that mean? And many times we don't give that information to our parents. And I think what we have tried to do is specifically say, we need you to tutor children. We need you to be role models for our children. We need you just to be visible in the school. Give them things that they specifically can do and not just say, we need you to come up to our school. I think that's what, and also with the community as well. The community does not know what the school is doing. The community does not see the children. Again, like the principal here said, we see the negative things come out. We don't see what the children are doing in the neighborhood.
I'm curious. I'd like to see a show of hands. I know you're here this evening, but how many of you are engaged in a volunteer capacity in some form or fashion with your own neighborhood school? Very good. My hat's off to all of you. And what drew you there? I mean, what is it? I mean, obviously, perhaps your child, your grandchild goes there, but what is it that brings you up to that school? Makes you keep coming? You know, there are a lot of parents that when summer vacation is over, they say, now my vacation begins. You know, the teachers and the schools get them again. But what is it that keeps coming you back, bringing you back to the school? Come on here. Don't be bashful.
Part of it is setting an example for your children. The way for them to learn to become involved in the community is to do it yourself by setting the example for them.
So what do you do?
Whatever you can. Whatever the teachers ask of you, get involved in the PTA, special projects at the school, just whatever you can.
You know, sometimes that is very, very admirable, but in this world where parents work 2 jobs or both parents work, sometimes that's a little bit difficult. But I was talking to Nan Goppler not that long ago, who has kind of spearheaded this Family First campaign, and she goes to her son's school, I believe it's once a week, and reads to the class, and that's very, very important. And that's part of her parental involvement. This is Ed Morris, and I said, so Ed, do you volunteer because your child goes to school here? He said, I don't have any children that go to school here, which I think is very interesting. Now tell me, how did you get involved then?
I got involved through the corporate in the Adopt-a-School program. We send professional people over here once a week for about an hour to tutor the children or read to them or whatever. And I personally come over and teach the kindergarten children computer class.
Now, a lot of times the kids get things out of the people coming into the school, but what do you get out of it? You must get something out of it.
Just seeing them learn. I mean, it's great.
Do you encourage the other people at your, I'm Oryx, I guess. He's wearing a badge. Do you encourage them to come out and get involved?
Yes, I do, quite a bit. And we've got quite a few volunteers now.
How many work and also show up for volunteer, like you?
I'm
Mr. Fox.
We all work, huh?
Ron?
Dumb question on my part, but I thought I'd ask it anyway.
Go ahead, Ron.
It is true a lot of parents work and most people do work, but one important goal all parents must remember is there's 24 hours in the day. And if you cannot make it up to the school, at least spend 10 minutes of your time daily with your children. Talk to your children. Don't talk at them. Sit on the ground. Get comfortable with them. Sit on the floor and read a book with them. All it takes is 10 minutes a day out of your 24-hour day. You'll make a difference in your child's life for the rest of their life. And that's one problem we're having. Parents are coming home tired from work, and they're telling their children to go play with your Sega Genesis or go pop some popcorn and crash in the bed. Or unless it's Monday Night Football and us males got to watch the game.
Not just males, Ron.
Oh, okay. But it's very important that parents spend at least 10 minutes with your child daily just to talk to them, ask them how their day was, how was their day in their class, did they pass their test? If they did not pass their test, encourage them to try harder. Don't discipline them every time they bring home an F. They may be giving you a message and you don't understand it.
That's interesting, because 10 minutes isn't a lot of time,
Not
even.
at all. Not at all.
I mean, I'd like to comment on the idea of volunteering. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do something every week or every day. There are times, I've only been able to help the school once or twice with their bonus program with the kids to come up and help distribute that. Yeah, I'd like to do it every time, but work's not going to allow me to come and do that. We're involved heavily in some of the social things, like with the Scouts, which we're trying to help with the moral value. I know that I can think pretty much that all the boys here at Gooch know who I am. The disappointing part of that is I don't know that very many parents do. So school can be related that you just drop your kids off and forget about them. If all you can spend is an hour a month or an hour every couple of months, that is at least 1 hour you've participated in their involvement in the school. It may not be much, but it's better than nothing at all. So that's something to consider. Just not, maybe not on a weekly basis, but just every so often get involved. Thanks.
Yes, yes, our panel?
I know on the subject of volunteerism, we have made a really kind of proactive effort this year in terms of with the Dallas Public Schools and getting corporate people to mentor and to volunteer within our schools. We have gone and reached out to the business community not only through the wonderful Adopt a School program that we have, but I know Mr. Woolery has approached many businesses and very successful public utility programming, as well as the City of Dallas, County of Dallas, and others, are really allowing their own personnel to volunteer 2-3 hours a month and giving them release time to do that, to come and volunteer with our young people. And I think that's very important.
That's what I was going to ask, Dr. Allen. Is that well received in the corporate?
Extremely well received, and it's a bonus. It's a give back to our community.
Yeah.
Okay, Bertha and then Mark.
Yeah, I want to comment on two subjects. First, follow up on what she said with corporate involvement. I work for Lone Star Gas Company, and we have a very successful program since the Adopt a School started 9 years ago. We have been touring this Asher Silverstein Elementary for 9 years, and now it's so much excitement among corporate employees to go every week to the schools. We have right now 42 people involved in going every Wednesday to the school to be mentors for the children. And I want to encourage more corporations to do that, because really the children are looking forward to the volunteer to come, because they feel very special attention to 1-2 children. Each volunteer works with them on a weekly basis. And the other point I want to make, I thank you, Channel 8, for inviting us to be part of this program at the Hispanic Chamber. One thing I want to observe right now, I don't see one single parent or volunteer who is Hispanic. And I was advised, one, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Excellent. Because when I was invited to be part of the panel, they informed me that this school has a high percentage Hispanic children. And I'm so glad to see the lady back there who is Hispanic. And I would like, as a chamber person and education committee, I would like to promote a program of how can we do to make the parents involved with the school. It's something to do with the language, the culture, but we can certainly help in doing that. The lady.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity, because we have got this opportunity available to all people, Hispanic as well as all other people, through PTA. We have got some courses that are state mandated of officers, and we are having them at different locations in different schools to enable us to train parents to carry on their duties as PTA officers. PTA is one of the most effective forms of parent involvement in the world, and now I can say in the world, because it's not only national with 7 million members, but there's 25,000 units throughout the United States, and we're international because of our service families overseas. And we do welcome parents to join PTA, take those leadership courses, and I also want to encourage schools to make your parents feel welcomed, all parents. Include them in as many activities as you possibly can get to them by phone. Also, I would like to encourage schools to start educational programs that would involve parent and children coming to the school to take courses together, such as the one at David G. Burnett Elementary School. At present, they have got a family math program that has got 400 to 500 people coming on Tuesday nights to take math with their children. It is outstanding. When you're there, you actually see a parent involved with that child on that subject matter, and at the same time, they're having so much fun together. This is something that enables them to realize that there's a lot of things that a family can do together.
It's interesting to think of parents and kids taking a math class together, because when I was in the 6th grade and had to go to math with my mom, it was not because we were having fun. Fun was not involved. Mark, I believe you had something to say, and then Jeannie.
I think that sometimes also, since schools now are becoming site-based and they're making decisions about budgets and personnel and issues within the school, sometimes we don't realize that just the traditional ways of volunteering community members and parents may be coming up to school. Also lending your expertise. I mean, schools are becoming a business. They're looking at allocating funds and managing funds within their school building for their particular students. And parents who may not have time to come up and tutor, or community members can lend their expertise when it comes to planning a school improvement plan or looking at budget, just offering that expertise at those meetings. And some people don't realize that they have an opportunity to come and do that.
Jeannie Paul-Turner, do you agree with what he says there?
Absolutely. It's so nice to hear all of the wonderful things that are being done. I feel like I'm on the right track because we're doing all of these things. So yay. But I think, as she said, making them feel welcome is so important. And what we have done at Rockmore is we have on-site daycare. Through a grant that we wrote with the Arlington Boys and Girls Club, we actually have a temporary building, and they use my gym, and the students may come after school and stay until, I thought it was 7 o'clock, I was telling Mr. Fox today, but it's actually till 8 o'clock. And we are also a year-round education school. A part of my campus is, and during the intersessions, when they're off on their break, the children may also come up and stay during the break time. The parents can come, have daycare, they can come to the school, have conferences, and if they still can't do that, then we've had apartment PTA meetings. If they won't come to me, I go to them.
I'd be curious of knowing from Dr. Allen, how many of the DISD schools, how many schools do we have? What, 100?
204.
204. How many of those offer after-school daycare programs for dual-income families, that sort of thing?
A good 50 to 60% of our schools.
50 to 60?
Yes, percent of our schools offer some type of extended day opportunities for our young people. So it's quite extensive. I was going to also comment on the fact that I think it's been mentioned, but I think we are really being scrutinized to make sure that we offer many kinds of non-traditional opportunities for parents to get involved. I think that's really the key. Parents do work, they're very busy. They're under more pressure now than they've ever been. And we know as educators and certainly as a society that really parental involvement is the single most important thing in terms of a child's success in school. Far more important than anything else that research can show us. So I think the non-traditional kinds of opportunities for parents to get involved, whether it's early in the morning or late in the afternoon or on Saturdays, are things like we're offering Hippie, which is a program where we literally go to the home and approach parents about getting involved and how to get involved and how to support their children in school. Those are rather non-traditional, but they're certainly very successful. The family literacy, family math, really engaging parents in very different ways to feel that they can be successful when offered the right opportunities to engage their children. And I think that that's real important.
You stood up.
I represent a segment of the constituency not addressed so far, and that's the older people of a neighborhood who no longer have children in school.
I'll jump in on that too, because I'm an older person.
Who no longer have children in school. In this neighborhood, I think the homeowner association is quite supportive, but nevertheless there's a certain element of frustration. I'd like to see even more support for these schools, so I'd like to ask the experts in other schools and other areas what role of senior citizens that we may adopt to do a better job here.
Everyone on the panel is going like this. So y'all fight it out.
Well, I know from let me butt in. I'm going to go back to Arlington here because I was at her school today, and in what they call the hosts program, there was a retired gentleman that was there who was helping out a youngster learn how to read. I'm going to let you carry on with this. But
yes, Jay Graham, one of my volunteers who is retired, who's a wonderful man, very patient. He comes. Of course, I don't know that you'd want to do this. He comes every day. But he volunteers every single day, and the host program is helping one student to succeed. And it's one-on-one. You sit across from your child who absolutely adores you. and you spend, if you only want to, 1 day a week, only 30 minutes.
Now, as a practical matter, how do you connect with that senior citizen who wants to volunteer some time? They call you up and say, what can I do?
That happens, and we also go, well, I kind of scour the neighborhood. As I told you today, I go up and down streets in my car with my megaphone. But you really do. You put the word out. We put flyers on doors, door to door. The children haven't, we have, the adults. And we then put it on telecable, so that's up advertised for anyone that would like to come and volunteer. And we have gone to senior citizens' homes. We have paid for a bus to drop a group of senior citizens to our school to be mentors. We had some other people that even worked in our office. And these people are absolutely fantastic. And there's just so many different things that you can do as far as listening, reading, sitting down and eating lunch with a child. Talk about cheap jollies. Mm-hmm. They really do get a lot of them, and isn't that wonderful that they do? We also have another program called Families Working Together that we're beginning, where entire families will be worked with at home and at school. And we will hire a staff person, and this can be a senior citizen, by the way, and we will have a recreation person, and we will have a parent who will literally go out with 12 different families. We'll go shopping. We'll learn about all the different things that we need to do. We will come back to Rockmore Elementary, go to my kitchen. We will all cook the meal together, sit down and eat together, and then we will have parenting lessons and just discussions on life in general and how we handle problems.
Now, again, the idea of these town meetings is to come up with solutions. So this man, sir, you need to probably get in touch with either the principal here or the volunteer, or
give his name.
we will point them out to you, but again, we want to make a connection here because it sounds like you have something to offer and they are willing to take you up on your services. This is Shelley Mitchell-Wiley, First Vice President of the PTA.
And one of the things that I am so thrilled about having this panel, because we told them what our needs were, and they met our needs, and thank you very much. And as Ms. Outer has explained to us, there are not Hispanic families here, yet that is a very important part of the culture, is family. We have tried to do our membership letters, welcome letters, which we think is the first thing a lot of families see, in both Spanish and English. We have tried to do as much as we can bilingually. We have on-site daycare that is open, we thought really great because it was 6:30 in the evening, and we were thrilled, but the children don't have to go anywhere, they're right here. And we do recognize the fact that we are not only dual family income homes where both parents are working, but we have so many single parent families here that are trying to make ends meet and trying to find the 10 minutes a day to make sure that our child knows that we really do remember their name and we care about them. So we're doing a lot of things right, but we're still missing a big group here at the school. One of the things we want is to find the solution.
Well,
Bertha, oh, I'm sorry, Ron. Bertha, I'm curious, what can they do to reach out to some of these Hispanic families that they say are not represented here? What can they do? What's the answer?
That's what I wanted to follow on here, because we have here on the board says action plan, and one on the top we need to do and make it happen. And I'm so glad we have been invited to be part of this meeting, because we can certainly provide that help to get the Hispanic community being involved, and we will develop a plan in our committee to make that happen, because we have some programs in place where we go to talk to the children at the schools. We call the mentor program, and we can do that and extend the invitation to the parents, and we can have once a month meeting or so, this type of meeting, and we can conduct that in Spanish. That way the parents feel at home and feel part of that, and also maybe we can offer English classes to those parents. And I mean, all the help they can get, because what a person said a while ago, make them feel welcome. That is the key. If they feel welcome, if somebody greets them at the door who speaks the language, who is part of the same people, they immediately feel at home, and we can get a lot of response from them.
Okay, Ron?
Now that I'm at Dunbar, not Pearl Sanderson, we're trying something different at Dunbar. And we really encourage the parents to come to the school, but this is my personal opinion, I prefer for the parents to come out in the evening picking up their children rather than coming in the school building. In the inner city, children need to know that their parents work. I'm going to be straight to the point. They need to know that their parents work. And I have a problem with parents being there all day long because the children are already around unemployment all day, then other children tease those children about their parent. Why'd your mom up here? She doesn't work. So at Dunbar this year, starting today, we have a program called Sister to Sister. And it's by Paul Quinn College. And Paul Quinn College has allowed 46 young ladies in their program called Sister to Sister to come to Dunbar once a week. And they're adopting 46 young ladies from 6th grade to 4th grade, and they will work with these young ladies on the TOS test throughout the duration of the year. And we need volunteers from colleges because my personal feeling is the best role model for a child, besides the parent, is someone around their age group. Their age group. Nothing wrong with senior citizens now, but but someone who a child can relate to. That's why at Dunbar we're molding the 6th graders into role models, where we can send the 6th graders down to the kindergarten and 1st grade and tutor those children when they have extra time. We're making role models inside of our building because it is hard to get volunteers in the DSD or any school district. And we all must remember, and this is my famous quote, even though children only make up 20 to 25% of our country's population, they're 100% of its future. We all should put children first.
Good point. We all remember being in the 2nd grade and looking up to those 6th graders. Right. They were so cool. Pat Henderson?
I'd like to address an issue of male role models, particularly in schools. We at Nathan Adams Elementary, which is just right across over there, have a couple of different things that we do to try to get more men involved. PTA somehow has gotten the stigma that it's a female organization. We've gradually increased our male involvement, like on the PTA board, over the last few years. But we also have a group called the Dad's Club. And we kind of work behind the scenes. We're not real official or anything, but when projects can't get done, the principal says, well, that's a Dad's Club project. And they somehow get in touch with us and somehow it gets done. I personally try at least once a year to go into my daughter's classroom. I happen to be an architect, and I tell them what an architect does, and I try to relate it to the math. You know, why you need to know math? Well, I'm telling you, as an architect, I use math every day. But if any man wants to be the star of the day, you go into a classroom and do anything because they just absorb you like a sponge, and you're the star. I mean, you're the king, and it boosts your ego like nothing else you've ever seen, I tell you. But I enjoy doing that, and I think, especially in this day of gang-related stuff, having males in a classroom saying education is not just a female issue, men go on and they go to college and they get educated too. I think it's important.
Well, male bonding is important. And I suggest that every school throughout the Metroplex, every Monday night, Miss Renee Seiler, in their school cafeteria, bring 2 televisions down and let's have all the fathers and their sons come up to the school and watch Monday Night Football in the school cafeteria. There's a way that men can bond together.
Yeah, you had me a little worried there when you said just turn off the TV, but this is Dolores Bill.
I'm with I Am That I Am Training Center. We're doing a new initiative with parents as well as older young people, getting them as role models, and that's doing a wraparound service where we're, first of all, starting out with the parent. What do you feel your child needs? Because the parent really is the child's first teacher. And then we're also incorporating Mr. Ron Price and his guards. They're going to be role models. They're going to do help tutoring and mentoring. So what we're trying to do is involve the whole community, men, women, young and old. We have another agency, our Brothers Keepers, who are ex-drug addicts and ex-alcoholics, to come in, not to say don't, but also be role models, to do some tutoring with them so that they can look up at this bigger kid and say, you use and it did that to you, I'm not going to use. Because see, we as adults can say, this is so dangerous, gangs is dangerous, guns is dangerous. They don't. They really don't. But when they hear another kid and he show them a scar, or like we had some parole people in, and they see 2 or 3 fingers on one hand, 1 thumb on the other, the kid gonna go, how'd you lose it? And this leaves a big impression. And I'm serious, because he talked about what went on in the jails, and less than a month, we had 3 kids to go to jail. And he prepared them so that they weren't victimized, okay? So it's a lot of things that we do that we can take our community resources, the people, you know, you do criminal check and background and this sort of thing, and you kind of screen people. But the thing is that we got to bring our community in and make them part of the family.
Yep.
Thank you.
Isn't this interesting? This is a meeting about school and kids, and we have yet to talk to a kid.
Okay.
This is Tiffany, and she's a 2nd grader here at Gooch Elementary School. They've grown big here at Gooch. No, she's standing on a chair. Tiffany, how do you like going to school here?
Fine.
Well, what kinds of things does your mom do to help you learn here?
She makes sure I read every day, and she checks out my rhyme. She signs my folder.
She does. Okay, she said she helps you read, and she does what else?
And she on Thursday she signs my folder so I won't get any signature. She makes sure I have my good behavior.
And is that very important to you, Tiffany?
Yes.
And what kinds of things do you make sure you do to make your mom proud?
Get 100s and no signatures.
All right, thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Well, you're tall. You're taller than me. No, not really.
I also understand that Tiffany holds another distinction here.
What?
She is the top fundraiser for the PTA here. She sold over $600 worth of gift wrap. Congratulations.
A budding salesperson.
Our sales department will be contacting you next week.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
exactly. One more time, sir.
Well, we've all been throwing out these different positives and things to do. And so I'm going to throw out something here for the action plan that's a negative. And it revolves around 2 or 3 different things that I've heard here tonight, whether it be the Hispanic involvement, the older people getting involved in the schools. I specifically hear about Nathan Adams' Dad's Club. And one of the things to remember is that when you get people to step forward and volunteer, is to be sure you stay in contact with them. And the reason I say that is because I can think of 3 years in a row I signed up for the Dad's Club and never got a single phone call for 3 years. So I quit signing up. I found other interests to devote my time to, and they were involved in other areas of the school. But the quickest way to lose your volunteers is when they step forward and create ideas, or they want to know how they can get involved, is don't get back in touch with them. We've taken that lesson in a lot of the other groups we work with, and we've made a very active effort the last year or so that the people that are volunteering for things we're involved with to make sure they get a phone call. I know my wife spent an hour and a half on the phone the other night just getting back to people saying, I saw your name on the list, we haven't talked to you, how can we get you involved? And when you're doing things with the school, and I see the hands popping up over there, when you get people involved in your school, try to have a structure organized so that someone calls them back.
Well,
otherwise, they're just going to disappear.
Well, I tell you something. We just have to be as volunteers, as people. If you don't give me a call, I will sure call you and say, okay, I volunteer. And take a proactive approach, okay? If I sign to be a volunteer to be a program and I don't receive a call in 1, 2, 3 weeks, I'm going to call and find out what's going on. You encourage all those volunteers when you have your first meeting and say, okay, if I don't call you, please be sure to call me, and you volunteer. I mean, don't wait for somebody to call you. You take it and do it.
Take some initiative. Okay.
I was going to say that it's hard work.
Yeah, it is
really
hard work.
having parents active and adults active in your building is hard work. I think the principals would attest to that. You must be very organized, and you got to do a lot of planning. It's very hard work, I think, to make sure that schools are constantly checking themselves in terms of making sure that parents feel welcome in their building. I think lots of parents don't come and get involved because they may have had some bad experiences themselves with school. And so it's threatening sometimes, and so that's very important.
I think that most of the time, and when any of us get involved in things, we need some emotional attachment. I think it's very important, on the other hand, that the schools and the kids become involved in the neighborhood, and that's something that we don't always remember. What we try to do in our school is we have a cleanup program in our school where the kids will go out and clean up the neighborhood. We have a program where children go out and help some people with maintenance on their houses in the neighborhood, so that the people learn who the children are, the people have some emotional attachment to the children, and then they feel more comfortable coming up. And I think we have to realize that it's a two-way street and that we need to become involved. Also.
Those phones also work two ways. If you volunteer and they call you and you say you'll do it, you got to follow up.
Right,
it's important that you call back and say, I'll be there, and then show up.
Shelley Betts.
Well, I'm with Cabell Elementary School, which is another elementary school across the freeway. And we have found, you stole my thunder. We have found that by involving the children after school, the evening, the weekends, that we draw the parents. They've got to get there somehow. In each PTA meeting we have, one of our grade levels perform from our music department. We're starting this year, we're going to be involving our strings and our band that usually only perform once a year. We have a scout troop, whether it's the Brownies, the Cub Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, but any scout troop that's involved at Cabell does a color guard ceremony. So we bring our kids in, and they're the ones that do our PTA programs, except for just a small part. And we've gone from 2 years ago, our last meeting of the year, we had 14 members. Last year, we had 140 members. And this year, our first 2 meetings, we have had between 300 and 400 members at each meeting. And that's because we bring in the kids.
Thank you, Sal. Helen Walters. Are you any relation to...
Well, the children here at Gooch call her my mom, but she's actually our PTA president. I teach here on the staff. I also live in the neighborhood, and I am the volunteer coordinator for the corporate companies, and we have Alice Mitchell, who is the volunteer coordinator for the rest of the community. I just want to dispel a possible misconception. Gooch has an outstanding volunteer program. We have one of the top programs in the district. We have over 100 active volunteers. And I saw Joe Jordan stand up back there, and I recently gave him an article for the Homeowners Association, but now I'm going to give him a recruitment letter. We have parents in the school every day helping in the lunchroom. We have an extremely active PTA board. We have a lot of senior citizens. We have the people from Oryx. Ed Morris is my volunteer, and he is outstanding. Won many awards last year, also received a presidential citation. But we have people from Oryx, we have people from Doubletree, we have parents, grandparents, neighbors. So I don't know who the gentleman is with the Dad's Club back there, but that's, I guess, another school. But I just want you to know that Gooch has an outstanding volunteer program, and we win awards every year for that.
And they all take sales training from that young lady back there.
Yes, right, from
She's
Tiffany,
my
right.
former student.
Yeah.
That explains.
All right, this is Carlos Perez, and he lives in the neighborhood.
I just want to say 2 or 3 things. As a Hispanic neighborhood person working for the schools, the Dallas Public Schools, I live here and I jog around and I talk to kids and I find out what's going on here at Marsh and my neighborhood. I live within 3 blocks of here. And there are other avenues to get involved. The schools, many times, are not going to be able to call you at home. But besides the PTA, there is the school center education in 204 schools in the Dallas Public Schools, which that means that you just find out when they meet once a month. Go over there for an hour, and you have a voice. You can say anything you want. And they will take into account what's going on, how you feel, and how you can help. So beyond the PTA, which is great, and I believe in it, but these other avenues is very important. And the only other thing I want to say is that you have to think that it takes a whole village to raise a child, and it's just saying, and it's not. You have to have it in your heart. What I do is I read to kids. That's all I do. That's my volunteering. I just read to kids for 15 minutes, be at the public library or at Marsh. And I know that Gooch has a very good volunteer program. But as a Hispanic, you can do it in Spanish, in French, in English, or whatever. Just read to your students, read to your children once every day for 15 minutes. That's all we are asking. If you do that, you open windows. So it takes more than one person. It takes a whole village, us,
right,
as architects and as PTA presidents and Hispanics and whatever, we need to get involved. And you're not going to be called. There are too many things going on in Dallas. You're competing with television and the malls and everything else. You know, in jogging, this is my half an hour to go jogging, and I say I had to stop at Gooch, and I don't even dress for this, but I wouldn't miss this one for anything in the world, you know, because it's the only time that Channel 8 is going to be around in my neighborhood. I mean, it's not a plug. It's not a plug for Channel 8. It's a plug for Gooch and Mars. Don't forget, when they grow up, the best involvement you can make on your kids is to keep up with them. Just because you were a good pre-K or kindergarten, it doesn't stop there.
Correct.
It goes beyond that. Middle school, critical age. In high school, don't drop them off. You volunteered for 13 years. I just got mine to go to college, you know, about 2 months ago. Anyway, I'm hanging out.
But he's hanging out. But I think it's very interesting that he says, just read to your kids, because that is so critical and so important. And obviously, this is something that he truly feels. You heard the fire. You know, he obviously feels this. And our Geneva Ramirez says that even when she was growing up, her mother worked. To say that I work and I don't have time is no excuse.
It's no excuse. When you have kids, you have duty. Part of duty is getting involved with that child. When you tell me you don't have time, you're telling me you don't have time for that child you brought into this world. It's wrong.
That's right.
And when your child attends that school, you owe that school some of your time, whether you like it or not.
I have a suspicion here that perhaps we're preaching to the choir and to one another. Let me raise the subject, however. We've talked about a huge volunteer program here. This school's test scores are up. It's an Excellence in Education Award 3 years running, and yet the student population here is 71% minority. Mm-hmm. This neighborhood is predominantly what? Anglo? Where are all the white kids? Are they going to private school?
Why?
What is the competition here? How do you as a community in this neighborhood, and this happen? Look, 85% of the student population in DISD is minority, and the city is not. Well, it is 50% minority now, 51%. But the question is, how do you compete with private schools? How do you attract those kids that live in this neighborhood and yet don't go to this school? Let's start back here.
And again, we also want to hear from some of you folks who haven't spoken up yet.
This is a town meeting. That means you have to talk.
The best way to attract them is to get them to come visit the school. I had all the private school applications in hand because I was under the impression before I went to visit Nathan Adams that that was the thing to do, to get in early, apply to the private schools, but there was something in my gut that said, wait a minute, this isn't me. I believe in public schools, and I'm going to go visit this school, and I'm going to get to know as much as I can about it. And I respect people's right to choose to go to private, but you lose my respect if you make that choice without visiting your neighborhood school.
That's right. Well, I like to say that one important goal is to get the communities involved with every school. In the last 15 minutes, as some folks in the front know, I've been battling an unwanted volunteer here at Gooch. It's been flying around me, so I've been battling him for a while. So the most important thing is getting communities involved. And the young lady a minute ago mentioned that Gooch has high test scores, but look at the community Gooch is in. Let's take South Dallas and West Dallas as an example. And in South Dallas, there's 350 liquor-related businesses in just a 13-square-mile area, which has more than 10 schools. Can you imagine growing up, the first thought in your mind is, am I going to have something to eat? Second thought, am I going to live? Third thought, do my homework? That's what a lot of children in the southern sector go through every day. And that is one reason why the test scores are not high. All children are brilliant. There's not a dumb child born. It's just the conditions and the way the communities are shaped nowadays. That's the reason why the test scores are lower in certain areas, because the children have more things on their mind than education. We must take that into a real point in a fact, because I hear a lot of people say, well, our school test scores are outstanding in the suburbs. Well, I said, well, do you have 13 liquor stores around your junior high? I don't think so. If you had 13 liquor-related businesses around your junior high, your test scores wouldn't be that high either. So we must get involved in our communities, and as the Hispanic gentleman said, it really doesn't matter what the color you are. A child is a child. When you die, you die. When you get into surgery, you don't care what color the organ is or who it came from. You want that liver or that heart. So we need to get past the racial thing, get more involved in the community thing, and help these children and once again, put children first.
This is Suzanne Montgomery.
I'd just like to say that several years ago, 5 or 6, my oldest son was in private school, and I wasn't satisfied with the education he was getting, and I pulled him out to put him in public school here at Gooch because they had such a good reputation. So I'm not sold on private schools at all. I think especially the Dallas ISD, their DPS, what it is now, I'm not used to that yet, has a good reputation as far as teaching goes, and I'm glad my kids are in it.
Okay. This is Dr. Rosie Sorrells with the State Board of Education. Dr. Rosie Sorrells.
Yes, I would simply like to say, first of all, there are many wonderful schools, public schools within not only Dallas ISD, but across Texas. And there are many programs that are working, parental involvement programs that are working in those schools. And I think one of the best things that schools can do where they do not have good parental involvement is try to partnership with some of those schools where things are going on. I want to refer you to a report that was done last year by the 73rd Legislature, Safeguarding Our Future, Children and Families First. Many wonderful, exciting programs across Texas are mentioned in that report, and I think rather than reinvent the wheel and try to think up something and try it out, I think we ought to look at some of those things that are working. That's first of all. Secondly, I would like to say one of the best kept secrets in Oak Cliff, there are some high achieving schools. The highest achieving school in this district is in Oak Cliff, and it is Elijah MP's a school, and at 90% achievement within that school, they have terrific parental involvement. I just read about that school last week. It would be good to find out what that school is doing to get that excellent parental involvement, and that's in East Oak Cliff, 97%. And that school has outperformed Highland Park. It's outperformed all of the DISD schools, and I understand Plano as well. So there are excellent, outstanding schools within this district, and we need to promote and support those schools and try to find out what are they doing to make it really happen for children. And so I just want to mention that. One other thing I want to mention is the fact that there is a program called Off Your Rockers, the Senior Citizens Program, and those senior citizens are in schools all around this city, and they're just eager to get involved in that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that parents, one of the important things parents can do, although they work, is to find out who's teaching their children, to get to know the teachers, and not only get to know the teachers, find out what the children are learning so that they can reinforce that kind of learning at home. And then spending time, I just want to reinforce that, and we cannot reinforce that enough. But thank you enough.
Thank you.
This is Gloria Ford.
As a member of the SCE Council and as a parent to 3 students and 1 nephew here at Gooch, I like to say that it is important that parents do get involved. And one of the reasons why I am involved with Gooch is because I love my children. And I feel that every parent should want something better for their kids. But one important thing that I was thinking about is the First Lady got up and said was that the schools in this area are excellent schools. But I would also like to know that there are excellent schools in other sections of Dallas. I commute with my children every day because this is a good school and because I do have a good rapport with the principal and with the teachers here. But I'd like to know that if I decide that commuting is too much for me and them, that I can find a school in South Oak Cliff or whatever area I'm living in, that I can find a school that I can get the same attitude that I get here at Gooch. And I don't want to think that all the good schools are here in North Dallas and that this is the only way that my children are going to get a good education is if I commute with them to a different school.
We are approaching the witching hour. This is the time in our meetings when we say, okay, we've talked, we've listened, and now we're going to solve. So we want to really concentrate on the action plan. We want to really come up. We've already got about 5 items down here. If you have anything that you think you need to add, would like to add, that's not already on here, we need to hear about it right now. Okay? Yes?
I would just like to add something.
Yeah, can we read those off? Because they can't quite
okay.
see my small writing
Yes.
back there. That's part of the problem.
All right, number one is to call volunteers back. If you have people on a list who say, hey, I want to help you out, make sure that you keep in touch with them. This is what the gentleman back here was saying. Number two, my gosh, I can't even read it from here, Doug.
That is volunteers.
Volunteers need to follow through. So it's a two-way street. That's kind of what we were talking about up here. That phone works both ways. Number three, Hispanic families involved. We heard from several people who said, you know, that this is a school that is 72% minority, and yet there is only 2 people here representative of the Hispanic population in this particular area. Number 4, dads involved. This gentleman, Pat Henderson, was talking about the Dads Club at Nathan Elementary, and also involving community people, which I got to tell you, that kind of hit me between the eyes, because I'm thinking, oh, well, I don't have any kids, so, you know, what good would I do at a school? Well, look at Ed Morris. Yeah, you know, he's just one of a few who said, hey, I'm going to get involved. So that's what we have on the list right now.
Miss Dana Metter.
Hi, how are you? You pronounced it right. You're one of the first people that have ever done that. I think what we're talking about here to a large extent is parental involvement. You know, and at Gooch, I've seen Barbara Upchurch and, you know, a lot of the teachers have come up with the kids and they've taught the kids, you have a right to demand your parents to be involved. And we have the Reading at Home program, and we have t-shirts that the children get, and every 9 weeks they win awards if they accomplish certain things. And they go home and they say, I want my award and I want my raw, and you have to sign this and you better turn it in. And the children are beginning to demand that their parents care. And that's a good thing, because you have to understand that no matter how much outreach I give, the best person to grab their parents and drag them into this school is the child itself. So then I suppose the parent should listen when your child says, hey, I really want this.
Well, you might add that up there. Listen to your kids.
All right.
And that goes for more than just involvement, too.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming and doing a positive story about the public schools. We appreciate that. At Walnut Hill Elementary, IBM is our adopter, and one of the things the communities can do for the schools is in-kind services that doesn't cost the company a lot of money. They do copying for us. They send us folders. They send us staples, they send us paper clips. They also come out and volunteer, but it's those in-kind services that really help our school. In-kind services, it's things they can do at their company that doesn't cost them money. IBM is very generous. They send us volunteers, they provide staff development, but it's those in-kind services that any company in this city can do to support the schools.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Have you got something that we can add to the board?
Well, I actually have something I think that is not a problem, or is a lesser problem, I think is actually rather amazing. Money is important everywhere, but almost everything we've emphasized here is human involvement from the community and from the people. We just went through all the haggling in the state with Robin Hood and things like that, and schools do need computers, and they do need buildings, and they do need to pay their teachers a respectable wage, etc. But what seems to make the most important is the attitude and the involvement of both the teachers and the parents and the community behind them. And it's interesting that money has not made it anywhere in the top 5 or 6 items here at this point.
There is also a factor that probably is not up there, and we might add it. Each of you that is involved in this school and knows something about this school or your own local neighborhood school, you can be a PR person for that school. That when a neighbor trashes that school, says, no, you don't want to send your kids there. If you know the story, it's up to you to turn the ball around, isn't it? Head it in the other direction?
Yes. I'm a professional fundraiser, and my territory is everything west of the toll road, all the way north and all the way south. I've pretty much been in every school, PTA meetings, open houses, and I can tell you, and I know almost everybody here except they probably see me as a bumblebee, not as a real person. They think I'm a bee. But I want to tell you, and I do want to give credit to one particular school. I think Gooch is absolutely, of course, they're my love. But Burnett, this lady back here, I went into Burnett Elementary and I was petrified because there's 1,600 students there. And I mean, that is a lot of kids. And I knew I had to do kickoff assemblies for all these students. This lady orchestrated this so that we had 7 kickoff assemblies done during the lunchtime, which is extremely difficult, 2 different cafeterias. So she disrupted no academic time, but not only that, she ran behind me, and I'm in a bumblebee costume, from cafeteria back and forth in the pouring down rain, translating for me, so that everything I said, she said in Spanish. These kids got so excited because she cared enough to say what I couldn't say. You know, I translate everything into Spanish, but I have to have someone check it. But she gets up there and she speaks Spanish. You have to bring those children to you. I also got 1,600 hugs with greasy tater tots, but they hugged me, and these kids, they love to hug, and they didn't care if I was a bee, they called me a mosquito, whatever. Fundraising is important, and the schools who make their children believe they're important and the things that they need for their schools is an important part of their lives, they will go home, tell their parents, and have an incredible fundraiser.
All right, Gail, thank you. We're going to keep our comments brief because we've really got to wrap this up, so please, action plan things.
I have always found it rather ironic that here in Dallas it seems that the role of public-private schools has been turned around, that the reason there is so much involvement in public schools is that people make a deliberate choice to send their children to public schools, and a lot of people don't make a choice to send their children to private schools. It's just a thing that you're supposed to do. It's not something you choose. So I think the more that we emphasize that it's a choice that you're making to send your children to public school, the more that involvement will be. And I would like even to take that one step further, that perhaps, you know, all the PR that's being done here, wouldn't it be great if people from all over the city could choose to send their children here to Gooch, because it is such a good school. And then if we all had more those kinds of choices, that we could pick the schools that we're interested in sending our children to.
Okay, Donna?
Kind of hoarse, but basically I just wanted to say I rushed here from work tonight because I didn't want to miss my point out on putting my point through, is that a lot of the parents do want to become involved, and a lot of parents do become involved, but after a while a lot of us tend to have to work so many hours and work this and work that. But the one thing that concerns me is everything is up there on the board is absolutely true, but there is a lot of mischief in my heart to where I feel as though there's a lot of problems that go on between the kids and the teachers, and I feel as though as a parent, when you come up and you do want to talk about it and you do want to get that out in the open, that the principal, the teacher, and the parent, everybody should be able to come together and come to some sort of resolution, because a lot of those things, it does bother the child's ability to learn, and it does distract that, and I just wanted to make that point.
So are you saying that you're not having that kind of luck? You want to get the principal, the teacher, and you involved, and you haven't been able to do that yet?
Well, I did last year, and I mean, I really didn't come to the point to where I wanted to, because I did want to move my child out of Gooch Elementary because I was not satisfied at certain points. And I mean, it really got bad as to where my child was really nerve-wracking and nervous, and I was taking her to doctors to find out what was going on. And I mean, it's not all peachy on the other side of that highway. You know, you have to come over and cross that strip. Again, a lot of kids are not getting that love and attention that they need at home. My child was receiving that, plus coming here not getting what she felt she should have gotten was disrupting her learning abilities. And she was bringing that home to me, and I was not satisfied at all.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Did we get that on the board? Parents, teachers, and principals get together, get involved.
This is Dan Turner. He's the husband of our principal up here.
And chauffeur. One thing that I'd like to point out, I think is very important and it isn't being addressed, is just because a man and a wife get divorced, that does not divorce your responsibility to your children. So if you live across town and your child is going to a school across town, it's a responsibility for you to be a part of that child's education. And as a man, I feel it's more than a responsibility, but it's an opportunity. And if you don't take advantage of it, you're missing the boat.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gosh, you know what? Time has just flown by. And I know I still see hands out there, people saying, hey, I got something to say. Just because the lights go off and the cameras go off, please don't let the dialogue stop. That is so important to keep the lines of communication open. There is a tremendous resource in this room. I can feel it in the energy, in the emotion, just all of these people up here, and all of you people who said, hey, listen, I'm going to give up my Thursday evening and go out to this town meeting. And then the things that we've come up with for this action plan. We want to go over some of these because we are going to be checking back with you in a couple of months, as we have done in the past, to find out how things are working. Some of the things we came up with. Parents, teachers working together.
Please put on there, schools adopting schools.
Schools adopting schools. Okay, we'll put that down there. Parents, teachers working together, open discussion of children's problems. We talked about the volunteers calling the volunteers, and the volunteers calling the teachers and the organization. Hispanic families getting involved. This is something we heard a lot about tonight, something that it sounds like needs to be worked on. Dads getting involved. We heard that. Involving community people. Not just because you don't have children does not mean that you cannot get involved. Listening to your children, very, very important. In-kind services, we heard about that. Copying, handing out folders, staplers, staples, whatever the school needs that your company can provide. Be a public relations person to schools, as Doug Fox was saying. If you know about a story that's going on in your school, or you think your school's getting a bad rap, guess what? We don't read minds, so you need to tell us. And fundraising, and schools adopting schools. All good points.
Thank you very, very much for being here this evening. We are absolutely delighted that you have spent your Thursday night. We all give up a little something to be here, us included, and we appreciate the fact that you have invested your time in this school and your kids and trying to make Dallas a better community and this whole area a better community. My hat's off to you. We salute you for your involvement. Thank you for being here.